Well, we're hearing from so many of you who are just now learning you've become a victim of identity theft connected to the ongoing unemployment fraud. And that could make you vulnerable to yet another hit come April 15th. I-Team consumer investigator Randy Mack tells us how you could get taxed on benefits you never received.
For nearly a year, tens of thousands of Californians forced out of work by the COVID-19 pandemic have relied on unemployment insurance. And like wages, that's taxable income. And the State Employment Development Department, EDD, is sending 1099-G tax forms to anyone they have listed as having paid benefits to. The problem is EDD's list, because of fraud, is littered with victims of identity thieves because of online scammers. These folks never requested or received a dime.
In general, we're seeing a lot of state-level unemployment identity theft happen around the country due to the pandemic.
Rafael Tolino with the IRS says if you're an identity theft victim who's received a 1099 form saying you owe taxes on unemployment benefits, there are three things you can do to address it. The first is contact EDD. Easier said than done, but if you can get through, request the new tax form.
And what you want is a corrected form a corrected form 1099-G. And that way the IRS gets that same form as well as you. It's a third-party reporting form.
If that doesn't work, still make sure you file your taxes. Just don't report the fraudulent income.
You can still file a federal income tax return. Report only the income you received on that return.
And lastly, the IRS has a new layer of protection to combat ID theft. Go to the website irs.gov and create an IP PIN or an identity protection PIN number.
It's a one-time number used every year on your return. It's a separate number than an SSN, if you will, or a TIN, taxpayer identification number. And it helps us when we process returns in terms of processing only your return with you as opposed to the bad guy.
It may take a minute to create an IP PIN account. There are security protocols in the setup, but Tolino says it will distinguish you from someone who's stolen your identity.
ID theft has definitely been a problem in the last few years, and the IP PIN is one of the many tools in our arsenal, if you will, in combating it, in detection, prevention.
We've been saying it for a while now, but it bears repeating. If you can, file your taxes as soon as possible, because right now there's a backlog. And you think about it, between the extended tax deadline of last year, COVID, a couple of relief packages, and all the fraud, the IRS is behind in processing returns for 2019. In fact, they tell me that they just started looking at 2020 returns late in February. So again, they are behind schedule in terms of processing returns. So it behooves you to be patient and file as soon as possible. And if you need help, just go to an IRS office. Their offices are actually open, but you need to schedule an appointment. Reporting live in Chino Hills, I'm Randy Mack for NBC4 News.
Always great advice, Randy Mack. Thank you.